Death is real. It comes without warning, and it cannot be escaped. Though teachings on death and dying are no longer common in the West, they remain a part of daily life in the Buddhist cultures of the Himalayas. The kingdom of Ladakh, once considered Western Tibet, is now administered by the Indian government. It is located 3,700 meters above sea level on the borders of China and Pakistan. Because it lies in a politically sensitive area, foreigners were forbidden to visit there until 1974. As a result, the culture of Ladakh is still relatively unchanged. Buddhism was brought to Tibet in the Himalayas 1,300 years ago by the great Indian saint Padmasambhava. It was he who wrote the Tibetan Book of the Dead. The Tibetan Book of the Dead is a guide for the dying. It describes the process of dying as a natural transition. The text explains how, by recognizing the mental states and physical sufferings involved, we can come into contact with our own essential nature. In this way, it is possible to find freedom from confusion and fear. In a small village near the headwaters of the Indus River, an old man, Palden Tsering, has died. The family has requested Chozan, a Nakpa, or Buddhist yogi, and a resident of the village who often performs these rites, to come and read the text and to make the appropriate offerings. When someone dies, the Bardo Thodol, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, is read every day for 49 days. According to this text, the consciousness of the dead person lingers between one life and another for a period of 49 days. During that time, he is capable of hearing, so the text is read aloud to encourage and guide him. At first, the text is read in the presence of the body. Kept carefully wrapped, this text, like most traditional Tibetan books, consists of unbound pages held between two boards and has been printed from hand-carved wood blocks. O son of noble family, that which is called death has now arrived. Now, for the benefit of all beings, recognize the luminosity which dawns before you. This great blazing mass of light is enlightenment itself. It is the natural mind. It is the essence of your own mind. Recognition and liberation are simultaneous. The Book of the Dead describes how at death the consciousness is suddenly separated from all the circumstances which made up daily life. Mind experiences its own liberation directly as radiant, pure white light. Both life and death, according to the Bardo Thodol, are a continuous flow of uncertain transitions called bardos. In the bardos of death, if mind does not recognize its own nature, it becomes ever more solid until it enters a new form of life. O son of noble family, now is the time for you to seek a path. You are not alone in leaving this world. Everyone who has come before you has died. You can no longer stay here. Now you should think like this. Now I will abandon clinging to this body and to this world. I will go forward. I will abandon fear and terror. And I will recognize whatever appears as a projection of my own mind. Tsering uses an old astrological calendar to fix the day of Bardo Tsering's cremation, making calculations based on the dates of the dead man's birth and death. Bardo Tsering, you have died. The light of this world is fading completely. And the light of the next world has not yet appeared. Your body has lost all feeling. This is what death is. Let yourself go. If there is some sign that the dead man's consciousness has left the body from a place on the head, then that's a good thing. It means that the consciousness has not been obstructed as it left the body completely. Offerings are left out to encourage Bardo Tsering. Be nourished by our offerings, Bardo Tsering. Are you afraid of death? No, everyone must die someday. Everyone is born with the weight of death on their shoulders. I haven't done anything bad, so I'm not afraid to die. What happens after death? Above are human beings. Below is hell. It's our destiny to die. Why aren't you afraid? Because we'll be reborn. This child is the reincarnation of someone. Everyone is reincarnated. What was this child's previous life? That I don't know. Even though the physical body dies, consciousness continues. It is a constant repetition of life and death. That's why people are reborn. 9 days have passed since Bardo Tsering's death. According to the Bardo Thödol, if the deceased has still failed to recognize his own basic nature, and if he has failed to recognize the peaceful deities as projections of his own mind, then they transform into terrifying, wrathful ones. Bardo Tsering, listen without distraction. Now, the blood-drinking, wrathful ones will appear. Their bodies are dark red or dark blue, with 3 heads, 6 arms, and 4 legs spread wide apart. Their 9 eyes gaze into yours with a furious expression. They hold human skulls full of blood, and they roar like thunder. They are accompanied by a retinue of their own kind in many colors, and they fill the whole of space. Do not be afraid. Do not be confused. Recognize them as the projections of your own mind. Do not be afraid, for they are your innate wakefulness. If you recognize this, you will be liberated. Recognition and liberation are simultaneous. Today is the day of Bardo Tsering's cremation. Monks have been chanting in the house with the body since early morning. Cremations in Ladakh are performed as fire offerings. In order that he may no longer cling to his former body, and so that his relatives and loved ones may release him from the bonds of their attachment to him, his body is offered to the fire. The substances that are offered with the body, butter, oil, sugar, and various grains, represent everything that is desirable, sustaining, and virtuous in this world. To complete this process, Bardo Tsering's possessions were donated to the monastery. The day after the cremation, the monks auctioned them off to the people of the village. Two days later, Bardo Tsering's sons carry his ashes up the mountain and leave them to the elements. Bardo Tsering, listen without distraction. The body which you had in this life is becoming indistinct to you, and the body you will have in your future life is becoming clear. As you sense this, you will become frightened and sad. There is no place for you to rest, and no stopping place in your ceaseless wandering. You do not care what your next life will bring as long as you will be born soon, and so you approach anything that appears before you. Take care, Bardo Tsering. Do not be afraid. Look for a good human birth, where you may yet recognize your own true nature. On the final day of reading the Bardo Thodol, the entire family gathers to pray that Palden Tsering will find a fortunate birth. Palden Tsering, listen without distraction. You have not recognized your own nature, and now you will once again experience all the painful uncertainties of birth and death. Give up anger, give up attachment, and give up yearning for relatives and friends. Take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. With your head held high, enter the human realm.
I am very happy that we have been able to offer all these prayers and this reading to help my father. We have done all that can be done for Palden Tsering. And all the ceremonies and readings have been done properly. I feel that Palden Tsering has found a human birth. But I don't know in what circumstances he may have been born. The Tibetan Book of the Dead presents the states of dying and after death as a continuous possibility. We can become frozen in our attachment and fear, or we can recognize the liberation of our true nature. The Tibetan Book of the Dead shows that this opportunity is available to us in every moment of life and death.